Last night on Monday Night Raw, during a flawless promo, Sasha Banks proclaimed herself the new standard in the WWE Women's Division. Now, there's two facts in that statement. The first fact is Sasha Banks is the new standard in that division, and truth be told, she always was the standard. Vince knew exactly what he had in Sasha Banks. Vince knew how big she could become. Vince knew how good she is. And Vince could not and would not allow her to get bigger than the company. It was bad enough Becky Lynch fell through the cracks. And you know, that pissed off Vince McMahon. But at least it was an Irish woman, so Vince would be semi-okay with that. But Sasha? Hell no. There was no way Vince wanted her getting bigger than she thought that she knew she already was. So that's the first fact. She always was the standard. The second fact in my opening statement is that was a flawless promo. Now this morning I have my people telling me, BC, this person said this, and this website said this, calling it a shit promo, garbage. One reputable site actually said Becky Lynch responds to awful Sasha Banks promo. And everybody wants the Amplified Man to respond to that type of stupidity. But I ask you guys, when have you ever known the Amplified Man to engage in stupidity? You can't fix stupid. Stupid stems from stupid parents. You have a stupid man and a stupid woman. They make stupid love and pops out a stupid kid. And they spew stupid shit to the fucking world. That's the truth. You can't fix stupid. You can hope to contain it, but you can't fix it. You think I'm gonna go on social? Do you think I, the Amplified Man, have time in my day to engage with stupidity online? Please. That's why for the years I've had this channel, the 2+ years, not once do I engage in stupidity. First and foremost, I have a zero tolerance policy for disrespect and stupidity, but on top of that, I wouldn't lower myself to any of those stupid fuck standards. I'm too good for that shit, brah. I just am. And people hate when they hear that, right? When people know how good they are, other people look at that and they think it's ego, it's conceited. And they don't like it. And that's what Sasha Banks just extrudes, this confidence now that she has. And she always knew she was the best. She just needed that extra layer of confidence to remind her of such. And now she has it. And now a lot of people want to try to bring her back down, right? She was always never known for her mic skills. So last night she delivers a damn good promo. Flawless, actually. If you go back and watch it, not once did she stutter, no muttering. She let things breathe. When they did the Becky chant, she stopped, let it breathe, smiled, let the chant come in. Not once was there a boring chant during her promo. Not once was there a what? Nothing. People were hanging on her words, and she delivered her bullet points flawlessly. Literally everything she needed to say. They said I cried at the locker room floor after Mania. They were right. They said I took my ball and ran home. They were right. But not for reasons you think. It's because Becky Lynch was getting the push. Becky Lynch was in the WrestleMania main event. Becky Lynch was getting a bigger paycheck than me. She said all of this. And she did it all within 5 minutes. Flawless. Did not fuck up that promo once. The line delivered. There was one time where the fans were booing. She took her hair and she wiped underneath her eyes like she was tearing up. Mocking the crowd. Her mannerisms alone sold that promo. And I went back because when I heard these fucking schmucks calling this promo out, I had to make sure it wasn't just fandom. I just had to make sure it wasn't Sasha bias. I had to go back and do my job as a reviewer and call out the negatives in the promo. There wasn't any. There wasn't. The only thing, even people that, not Sasha Banks fans by a long shot, I know many, and even they were telling the Amplified Man, the only problem I had with that Amplified Man is it wasn't long enough. I wanted more. I wanted her to jump into more. That's what people were telling the Amplified Man last night, and they're not even Sasha fans. Into which I did tell them, because that's not stupidity, so I did engage in that conversation. I told them, guys, there was nothing more. She hit all her bullet points. She did it in 5 minutes. What do you want her to do? A 9-minute promo? At that point, fans start... You guys know how fans can get, man, these days. They're on to the next. They would get bored if you give Sasha 9 minutes on the mic, man. If you gave anybody 9 minutes on the mic these days, people are gonna start chanting, what? And boring. So they gave her 5 minutes. They said, try to hit this shit. And she even had time to pause, stop, let chants come in, wipe underneath her fucking eyes with her hair, smiling, smirking. This was a flawless... You give me any woman in that division to give me a promo like that, and it would be praised. But because it's Sasha Banks, the haters come out in force, right? People hate when somebody is really good at what they do. And then you have somebody like Sasha who happens to be great at what she does. So the haters are gonna come out, right? Those are the ones that blamed Sasha Banks for Paige's injury, right? Botcha Banks, they say, man. It had nothing to do with the fact that Paige was wrestling with a back of a 100-year-old. But no, it's Sasha's fault for that. Sasha takes her ball and runs home. She quits. When in reality, she just knew her worth and she wanted to restructure things with Vince. And if it took walking out to make Vince realize what he has, then that's what she did. She did it for herself, for her fans, for her future. But no, people wanted to say she quit, but when Neville did it, it was A-okay. When CM Punk did it, he had a reason. When Neville did it, he had a reason. Harper did it, he had a reason. Some people even said Nia Jax walked out because she had a reason. Did she? Nia just didn't want to do the job for Sasha. That's not a reason, but people let things slide. But when Sasha took her ball and ran home, everyone said, quit her, quit her. Yeah, or did she know what she was doing? Because look at her now. Yeah, that's called being smart, people. For the stupid ones in the back, smarten up. Perk up the ears. Open the eyeballs wide and start paying attention. The Amplified Man is now here. And this class is in session, I assure you. Professor Amplified is taking over. The bullshit that I see spewed is laughable at this point. It's laughable. That's all it is, man. You can't really get upset, guys. And I'm telling my unit, whenever you're online or you're just engaged with conversation at the water cooler at work or at school, wherever the fuck you are, on the street, in the Starbucks line here on 5th Avenue, wherever the fuck you are and somebody wants to engage and try to tell you Sasha Banks is awful, her promos are awful, she can't wrestle, she botches. When people say that, laugh it off. She's the best. It's like when people would tell me my Yankees suck, but they have 27 championships. Back in 2009, when they just won the championship, I still had people going, oh, they suck. One of the best teams right now in baseball, I still have people, the Yankees suck. They buy their championships. When the Red Sox were always almost equal to the Yankees' payroll. In fact, in recent years, they were higher than the Yankees' payroll. But nobody wants to say the Red Sox are buying championships. It's only when the Yankees did it, because they had the best players. Did they just buy shit, or were they just smart? They took advantage of every resource and asset that they had, and they utilized it correctly. And they became champions. Do you want to be a winner in life, or do you want to be a loser? You have to make that call at a young age. If you want to be a winner, you surround yourself with such. You root for such. You become such. Sasha Banks is a thoroughbred when it comes to winning. It's just fact. So when people talk shit about her, let it go. Now there's times you have to defend the ones you are on board with, the ones you love, the ones you're a fan of. I understand. But when it's just useless stupidity, let it roll. Because it's obvious how stupid they are. And you can't help but feel bad for them. You just know they just had dumb parents and that breeded stupidity, and that's going to lead to more stupidity when they finally decide to breed. And it's gonna fill the world with more stupidity. That's a sad state. It's sad. I'm tearing up, man. The world will get stupider when they breed, but there's nothing we can do other than laugh it off and go about our way, because if we bring ourselves down to that level, we're no better. Because that was a flawless promo. And again, I went back, I had to watch it just to make sure, you know, BC does love Sasha Banks and knows her worth and knows how good she is, but I had to make sure I was doing my job correctly. Man, oh man, did she hit her bullet points. Everything that needed to be said. And again, some people liked it so much, they wanted her to expand even more, but she got all the points in that she needed without the crowd turning on the promo, because it would have been too long at that point. She already went over 5 minutes in it. And she talked about all the rumors and why she came back. Everybody kept talking about Sasha Banks when she was on vacations, minding her own business. And people kept bringing her name up. So she waited for the perfect time, which is one-arm natty, she said. And she struck, and she said right on cue, she knew Becky would come for the save. And this is going to set up a title match. And this is brilliant. The whole promo, she hit everything she needed to say, did not stutter, took time to let the crowd chant Becky, mocked the crowd. What more would you want? It's rhetorical, don't it, BC? A little more conviction and passion and amplification, BC. No, that's exactly what that's the tone. That is everything she should have done last night. Everything was just this character of I'm the shit and I no longer need validation from any of you. And I concocted a plan at the right time to strike, and now I have the champion's attention. It was brilliant! But if you don't like Sasha, you thought it was awful. It was tragic. Fuck out of here. I have a zero tolerance policy on this channel for disrespect and stupidity. You guys know that. That was my rule when I started the channel. Zero tolerance policy. If you're disrespectful in comments or engaging with my fellow Amplified Unit members, you're out of there. The comment won't make the page and you'll be out of here. That's disrespect. And on top of that, if you're just too stupid on the comments, if you're just too stupid in your engagement with other members here on the channel, you're out of there. I will never allow disrespect and that level of stupidity on my page. Never. Because that's not opinion. That's some weird, stupid shit going on. And that shit's got to get corrected in your own fucking dome piece. That's some odd fucking shit. If you're going to watch that promo and go, no, I don't like it. Okay. All right. Dana Brooke, Alicia Fox, Mickey James even, and I love Mickey. You put all of them out there. Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, even Asuka. I love Asuka. You put Kyrie out there. Naomi, I love Naomi. You put them all out there and you tell me they're going to deliver a better promo than what Sasha did last night. It's not happening. Even Alexa Bliss. We all say Alexa's actually decent on the mic. She just never shows any passion or conviction or amplification. It's always kind of, even though she's good, it's kind of just boring for Alexa. But she always hits her bullet points for the most part, but even her, she gets some stutters going in there and some mutters. Sasha delivered better than even Alexa, and I always give Alexa praise on her promos. So don't give me that shit. Charlotte Flair is the only other one I could think of that would have nailed that shit. Right now, on that roster. The only other one that could have nailed that, word for word, and not fuck up once, would be Charlotte Flair. So be off me with that shit, dog. You think I got time to now go online and go down to people's fucking love? Nuh-uh, she is good. Nuh-uh, that was a flawless promo. What are you talking about? Let's discuss this. Let's spend the next 30 minutes of our life arguing about if it was good or not. No, you could just listen to the Amplify man who have already dissected this shit, and I'm telling you, it was flawless. It wasn't just a good promo. That was a great promo. And I know a lot of people are crying right now. Oh, love it, Beasley. That's your opinion, Beasley. Oh, there's facts. There's facts. Great promo by Sasha last night. And another fact, you're just stupid. Deal with that shit. I understand. You know? I was 4 years old once. I think I was pretty stupid then, right? I didn't know where I was. I was walking in the walls. I was fucking saying weird shit, right? It's weird being a 4-year-old. I would even call it stupid. So I was there once. I get it. Hopefully you'll grow out of it. Even if you're 47 or whatever. I don't know. Grow out of that shit. I don't know. But when it comes to dissecting pro wrestling, do me a favor. Let me do it. That's why you're watching me. Let me do it. The son of a bitch with 3 followers and he has no fucking platform to speak on. But he's gonna not only tell me it's my opinion, he's gonna tell me I'm wrong, right? I get that kind of person all the time on this channel. It's not BC. I respect that. I kind of look at it this way, or, people don't know how to disagree anymore. It's just, you're wrong. And then they start blabbing a bunch of shit. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm wrong? I didn't, fuck man, I have to listen to this, and I click on and it's like, 3 followers, you got a weird fucking profile. SpongeBob SquarePants. Some shit. You got fucking, Tyler Breeze. They're telling me I'm wrong, and I'm supposed to, who am I listening to? Why am I wrong? What? Who are you? No, nobody even fucking values your word, because you don't even have one. You can say I disagree, BC. Hey, man, that's your own stupidity, as I said, because I've dissected the shit. But I'm wrong? Now we're just getting to a level of stupidity that is not even engageable. And again, it has to be looked at as laughable. I wanted to get that out of the way, man, because as soon as she was finished cutting this awesome promo, that's what everyone's telling me last night. BC, you gotta stick up for our girl again, man. BC, they're saying her promo's who gives a fuck? They're always gonna have a problem. If people don't like you, they're always gonna talk shit. That means you're doing something right. If I didn't have people talking shit, if I didn't have people not liking my shit, bro, I'm not doing this correctly. I'm just not. Everybody is not supposed to love what you're doing. You're supposed to make people think to the point that they're actually upset with you because it's going against their favorite superstar or what they want to have happen. And they're making you think, and you just made them realize. It was that moment of clarity, that moment of realization. And when you make somebody do that, you drive off this emotion. You're gonna get people that don't like that shit. I love it. I love being the bad guy. I love being the hated guy. And I know Sasha thrives in that role. Because Sasha's done playing around, character-wise and in real life, trying to dumb herself down to the level of everyone else in that division, or most. Not the Naomis, obviously, not Asuka, not Kairi. There's some damn good female wrestlers in there, but a lot of that roster, Sasha Banks is leaps and bounds above, and for the past 2 years, she's had to play around like she's average with them. No, Banks is up here, most of that roster is down here, and now, character-wise and in real life, Sasha said, enough. Let's rock. I love that shit. So, that's my opening thoughts on the opening part of Raw. Yes, this all kind of gelled with the opening of Raw because that was the opening of Raw. So this wasn't just a side spiel. This wasn't just a monologue. This all had to do with the first opening part of Monday Night Raw, the first hour. Sasha Banks coming out and cutting that promo. Natty ended up coming out and she brawled with Sasha Banks a little bit. And Natty came out, street clothes, just ready to get it on. Sasha Banks fought back. They broke it up. And later in the night, we'd see a Natty and Sasha match. So I like that whole thing. There was just nothing wrong at all with it. And if you hear anybody today saying something was wrong with it, they are just wrong in themselves. And probably that breeds to other things in their life. So everything they do in their life is probably wrong. So don't even engage, guys. Let it roll, laugh it off, because it's funny. I love that shit. When I read that shit, it is funny. Make the amplified laugh. Hey, Billy, wanna go Potter Iceland? Sure, Jimmy, let me ask Ma. Then we went into, oh man, see, we were going good. We were going perfect at that point. Sasha Banks, awesome promo. Natty comes out, we get a little bit of physicality, and then we go into the Street Profits. The Street Profits continue to be the most annoying cheerleaders ever. And yes, I am including the Spirit Squad. You guys remember the Spirit Squad? Okay, the Street Profits are 36 times more annoying than the Spirit Squad. Glorified cheerleaders at this point would be an understatement, and that would be giving them much more credit than they deserve. The Street Profits are so beyond done to me. I don't know how they're going to rectify this to the Amplified Man. The Street Profits were something cool in NXT. Vince McMahon is just making them glorified cheerleaders like he loves to do with his black wrestlers. We've seen it with New Day. We've seen it with Crime Time. We've seen it with the Primetime players. We're seeing it now with the Street Profits. They don't always just have to be hype men. Most, if not all, of these individuals have utmost talent. Let them shine in different ways and areas and aspects. Vince loves to take his black wrestlers, throw them together in a team, and use them as hype men. That's the only value it seems he sees in them. And a lot of them, again, most, again, if not all of them that I'm thinking, have the utmost talent. Use them correctly. The Street Profits, when they got to the main roster, should have been dynamite. BC, they're getting adjusted to the main roster, and in the process, the fans are becoming used to them and getting adjusted to who they are. Yeah, they're gonna become adjusted to my foot up their ass in a second. This is not the way you do such. This is making them look like absolute fools and clowns because that's how they're being used. Fools and clowns. Why would I look at them as anything different? Next up, we get back on the right track. Ricochet versus McIntyre. First round of the King of the Ring. This was an 8:19 start time, finish of 8:32 p.m. Eastern time. So this was a 13-minute match. They gave him some time. For a Monday Night Raw fucking TV show, 13 minutes is actually a good amount of time. This was a good match that several times it looked like Drew was gonna take it, but in the end, Ricochet covers McIntyre clean for the W and the advancement in the tournament. This was great for Ricochet, defeating McIntyre and moving on in the tournament, but man, do I feel for Drew McIntyre. This dude just needs to catch a break. And sadly, what I was gauging on social media last night is all the people that were saying, yeah, man, Drew still needs to catch that break. Drew is gonna be something. They just need to give him a chance. A lot of those people, unfortunately, after that match last night were saying, Drew's done. Drew can't come back from this, or Vince just lost hope in Drew. And I can't say they're wrong. I cannot say any of those statements are wrong. It looks like Drew is done. How can he come back from this? I don't understand. If next week he was to collect all the titles in one night, that maybe be a start to being something. But it would need a miracle like that for me to look at Drew McIntyre like a winner now. And that's a shame because on the mic, his presence, his skill level, everything is damn on point. And Vince just doesn't see it or doesn't think he could help carry the company in a heel or face capacity. That's a shame, man. I really had high expectations for Drew when he got to the roster. But again, Ricochet gets a huge W, advances in the tournament. Backstage, Braun Strowman challenges Rollins for a championship match at Clash of Champions, which we already knew was going to happen, but the actual challenge came backstage. Seth immediately accepts, and I kid you not, immediately we go to, and miraculously, we instantly go to a graphic already made of Braun versus Rollins. There's already a graphic made for Clash of Champions, and Michael Cole starts talking about the match being official. Well, shit! Good to know that wasn't rushed! And all in the span of 60 seconds, we had a challenge, an acceptance, the graphic, and we talked about how it was official, all in 60 seconds. Gee, that wasn't planned out in advance, storyline-wise. It's those little details that are not so little to the Amplified, man, and really irk me, really upset me, frustrate me, piss me off to no end. The second King of the Ring matchup last night was Miz versus Baron Corbin. This ended the first hour of Raw. This was an 8:51 start time, finish of 9 p.m. Eastern time. So this was a 9-minute match. Honestly, I thought I was going to have to rip this match apart when I heard it announced on paper. I thought I was going to rip it apart. But it was actually an enjoyable match. For the 9 minutes they were given, and let's be honest, that's all they should have been given. Miz, Corbin, 9 minutes is plenty. Some would say a couple minutes too much. I'm getting fucking choked up already. It's only the first hour in the review. Some would say it's too much. I think 9 minutes was perfect with these two because they were actually putting on, again, an enjoyable match. Now, good? Was it a good match? I don't know about that. Bad? Certainly not. Again, enjoyable is the word that I'll use. And again, 9 minutes was perfect for these two, and they delivered. So I'm not actually going to rip it apart as I thought I was going to do. Let's move on to hour number 2. Oh yeah, how could I forget the second hour, man? I hope you guys stick with me. First, I'll get over some side business first. Bayley and Nikki Cross started hour number 2. This was non-title. In just 5 minutes, Bayley makes rather light work of Cross. This was nothing great, nothing needed, and nothing to remember. But all that said, not necessarily bad either, you know? So I'm not finding anything really bad in the first hour plus of Raw, other than the Street Profits. But I can't say any of this is good either, or shit that I need to see or even want to see. So that was Bayley, Nikki Cross to start off hour number 2. Now this is where I need you guys to stick with me. This is when the Schmaz Fest circus began, an 8-team turmoil match, or 8-team tag team turmoil. 8 fucking teams. You guys know I hate schmaz matches. I hate triple threats. I hate fatal 4-way. So just imagine my thought process when I heard there was going to be 8 teams in a tag team turmoil match. This was basically just like a gauntlet match, but for tag teams. That's all a turmoil match is in this sense. It was a gauntlet match. 2 teams started off, the Viking Raiders versus the B team. This was a 9:25 start, 9:27 finish. 2 minutes. In just 2 minutes, the Viking Raiders defeated the B team. Maybe that's best for all of us that it only lasted 2 minutes. So then the next team came down. This was Gallows and Anderson. Now they took on the Viking Raiders. 9:27 start, finish was 9:29. So this was another back-to-back 2-minute match. And Gallows and Anderson and the Raiders, both teams got disqualified because they were just going at each other. Now you could say, that's great, BC. That'll lead to something in the future, right? That was perfect. But 2 minutes? So the first 2 matches, 4 teams, or is that 3 teams? What is that? 3 teams, I'm sorry. All eliminated in 4 minutes. Double disqualification. So now we're starting off, right? We have 3 teams eliminated in just 4 minutes. And we have 5 teams left. So we start off with 2 new teams. Because again, Gallows and Anderson and Raiders just got double disqualified. So 2 new teams start off. Now, I hope you guys are keeping track. This is as mind-boggling for me to tell you and review this as it probably is for you listening. Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode formed this weird tag team last night. They were out next, taking on the Lucha Summer College House Party. This was a 9:32 start with a 9:35 finish. So this one got bumped up from 2 minutes to a 3-minute match. Vince is getting buck wild with his time management. So this was a 3-minute match in which Dolph and Roode defeated the House Party. So now the Revival comes out to take on Roode and Ziggler. Start time 9:36, finish was 9:41. They actually let them go 5 minutes in this match. Roode and Ziggler defeated the Revival. At this point, the crowd is dead. And this is excruciatingly just bad at this point. I knew how bad this was from the jump, but now here we are, multiple teams already into this, and the crowd is just like, what the fuck are we witnessing? And don't worry, crowd in attendance, crowd at home was thinking the same thing. So after Roode and Ziggler defeated the Revival, Hawkins and Ryder come out next to take on Roode and Ziggler. This was a start of 9:45 p.m., and it finished at 9:45 p.m. Exactly, literally 1 minute. 1 minute it took Roode and Ziggler to defeat Hawkins and Ryder. This was just sad and depressing and pathetic at this point. But now we go into the last tag team to come out. Heavy Machinery taking on Roode and Ziggler. 9:46 start, finish at 9:52. So this was, 6 minutes, the longest match of the night for the tag teams. And in just 6 minutes, Roode and Ziggler defeat Heavy Machinery. So now Roode and Ziggler will now challenge Strowman and Rollins at Clash of Champions for the Raw Tag Straps. Take a breath. I hope all of you kept up with that. That is what the entire second hour was revolving around. In total, 8 teams, 6 matches, all in 19 minutes. I'm going to say this once more so you guys can really comprehend this. 8 tag teams, 6 matches, all took place in just 19 minutes. And you tell me you're okay with that. And if you didn't fall asleep or find your nearest local cement wall to dive into head first, hour number 2 ended with another showing of the Roman Reigns video package. Because we didn't see that enough. We only saw that 965 times. We needed to see it again to make sure we really memorized every single part of that video package. Thanks, Kevin Dunn, for playing that Roman video package again. We didn't know what's been going on the last month. And again, nothing was even progressed in the Roman Reigns storyline, stemming and jumping off right from what happened last Tuesday when we left off with 2 Eric Rowans. This storyline is all but fucking dead. The only thing good to come out of this storyline was Buddy Murphy was made. And I told you to let that play out because there could be more for Buddy Murphy. I told you guys that would happen. But that, at this point, seems to be the only good thing to come out of this. Other than that, we've been fucking struck with 966, by this point, video packages. The same video of Roman Reigns. That was hour number 2. At this point, I was fucking, my head's spinning, I'm fucking nauseous, and I'm like, oh, only an hour left. We start hour number 3. Now, luckily for all of us, I'm sure, or most of us, the haters were like, fucking A, a Sasha match? I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this, Beasley. But for most of us, this perked us up, man. Sasha Banks starts off hour number 3 in a match with Natty. Banks defeats Natty in just a couple minutes, and this thing ended with an incredible Banks statement submission. Natty went to reach for the rope. Sasha tied up her arm and basically had her a choke out with her other arm. Visualize that shit. It was amazing. Just badass. And to add insult to injury, gave Natty a post-match beating just because. So I just love this, man. Sasha looked awesome in there as always, and this is really her first televised match since being back in 5 months. Sasha said 4, but you can really date back to beginning of April. And here we are at the end of August. So that's more like 5 months she's been away. So for her to look dynamite in there, and then that finish, man, that Banks statement was one of, if not the best Banks statement I've ever seen applied. And then afterwards, man, the smirk and smiling at the crowd who's trying to boo her and get underneath her skin and in her skin. She's just like, bitch, wait, I'm not even done. Goes right back to the ring, takes out Natty some more, dude. Sasha Banks literally put that show on her shoulders last night, and that was so good to see. Other than Ricochet and Drew McIntyre, I will give them credit as well. The only really good match last night was Ricochet McIntyre. Miz and Corbin didn't stink the place up, but I'm hard-pressed to say that Miz and Corbin was good. Ricochet and Drew is the only match I can really say stood out. Other than that, Sasha's the only one that put that whole show on her shoulders last night, man. And it was just in that 5-minute promo and a couple minutes in a match. But Sasha's the main talking point, and not just for the Amplified, man. Most in the community, reputable sources to dirt sheets, to podcasters, to video makers on YouTube. Everybody is really making their focal point Sasha for a reason. She carried the show. You know, love her or hate her, like her or not like her, she still carried the show. You can't, just because you don't like something doesn't mean it's not fact. Sasha carried the show. Sasha is the standard right now. People got to get used to that shit. Of course, I'm loving it. I'm loving it, man, because I love Sasha Banks. Always have from day one. And you guys know, I'm hard pressed to like somebody because I really dissect all aspects of who they are and what they are. So for me to like Sasha Banks so much means that I've done my homework, and this female has it all. She has it all. And now her promo game is on point? Fuck, the sky is literally and truly the limit. And now she's even more vicious in her bank statement, in the way she's wrestling, man. This is just, it reminds me of her NXT days when she was more vicious, more confident. But now there's even another edge. I'm loving this. Up next, we had Cesaro and Cedric Alexander. Alexander defeats Cesaro. Look, it was a decent match, but it received a golf clap from the crowd afterwards. And do you know why it received a golf clap from the crowd afterwards? Because that's all it really was. Decent. That's it. Cesaro and Cedric, I would think, would just tear the roof off. But it was just decent, and I don't blame them for the golf clap, because this was nothing special and no reason to give a shit about this match. And that's my problem with AEW, or could become my problem with AEW. They have to be careful. Everybody's talking about having good wrestling. It's not always gonna be about the entertainment and the stories. It's gonna be good wrestling. But I can get good wrestling watching ROH. I can get good wrestling watching New Japan Pro Wrestling. I can get good wrestling down at the local bingo hall with Danny Dipshit Dugenheimer and Billy Buttfuck McGee. I need to have something that's competition, not an alternative to Vince McMahon's WWE. I need to have something like WWE, but better. Something I used to love back in the 80s, back in the 90s, early 2000s. Something that WWE has lost. I need AEW to pick up that slack and then take off on a whole new level and realm. But all this talk about being an alternative and just having good wrestling, but if nobody gives a shit about the wrestling or the wrestlers or the match, then what the fuck are we watching? I'm watching glorified gymnastics. Make me care. Too many matches last night on Raw and at their pay-per-views lately. I just don't care about them. And if I don't give a shit, then I'm not gonna give a shit. Comprehend? Capiche? We ended the night with Strowman and AJ Styles, United States Champion AJ Styles. Styles wins this match via disqualification when the ref was knocked off the apron and subsequently knocked out till the end of time, it seemed. Styles tried some cheatery, but to no avail. Gallows and Anderson came down to help Styles, but to no avail. Finally, Styles tried trickery, and this finally worked. He saw the ref getting up. Strowman had a steel chair in hand, so Styles fell to the mat as if he just got hit by Strowman in the chair. The ref played along and said, "Hey, I heard you. I heard the chair," but it was really Strowman hitting Gallows and Anderson. So Styles dropped to the mat, and the ref called for the bell. Strowman was disqualified. Strowman cleans house afterwards. What does all this do? Why is that ending my Monday night? 3 hours of Monday Night Raw. 3 hours. And I'm supposed to give a shit about Strowman and Styles for a mid-card championship when Strowman is already going for the Universal Championship in a few weeks. He's already a tag strap holder. So what was the engagement here? What was supposed to hold our anticipation? That Strowman could hold all the titles? Or not all, but most, on the Raw brand anyway? Is that the anticipation? No, because that should have never happened. The only way this would have went off even worse is if Strowman did win that championship last night. No reason to take that off of Styles and have Strowman and Rollins have all the titles going into a match that nobody cares about anyway. And on top of that, if I was going to be interested in Rollins versus Strowman, I would have wanted one of them to be heel, or at least a lot of animosity. They're just friends. And what are you going to tell me? BC, wait, let this play out like you always tell us, BC. In a week or two, they could become bitter enemies. By that point, it's too late. We're already just a few weeks away from Clash of Champions. You get me? You feel me? So that ended our Raw. And I just missed the days, man, when Austin and McMahon were doing some heavy storyline and it would leave you with a mega cliffhanger. And you were just in awe when Raw went off the air and you couldn't wait till next Monday already and it was still 7 nights away. Or WCW Nitro when the NWO was heavy into their angle and something epic happened at the end of Nitro and your jaw was dropped and they faded to black and you couldn't wait for 7 nights for the next Nitro. I miss those days. Now we're just ending Raw with Strowman beating up Gallows and Anderson, winning a DQ match on Styles for no fucking reason. They weren't even fighting for any reason. They had a little feud recently, BC. Yes, it was intriguing. So much so that I forgot about it. I miss the days when things mattered. I miss the days when storylines were just so epic, man. And we were just into it, you know? And it just seems like we watch a lot of these shows out of just habit and hope. And I miss the days when we watched it because we were excited for the shit. It didn't matter your age. I had my fucking stepfather in his fucking 30s. He couldn't wait for that shit. My grandfather in his fucking, 50s, 60s? So who the fuck knows? He couldn't wait for that shit. I was a kid. I couldn't wait for that shit. It didn't matter your age, man. You could not wait. You were excited. You were anticipating. You were intrigued. I miss when you had those feelings watching pro wrestling, man. We could still have them. It's just most of these shows, we're not getting them. Again, Sasha Banks was the only one that made the Amplified Man perk up at all. A little bit of Ricochet and Drew McIntyre got me out of my seat a little bit. Other than that, they need to do a lot more to sell me on Clash of Champions, because so far, on paper, shit looks treacherous. The Boss Banks! She owned that show last night. We all know this. Even the haters, we all know this, right? And now it's finally coming to fruition for the world to know. There is a new standard in the WWE when it comes to that women's division. If you ask the Amplified Man, in the entire roster, there's a new standard. Her name's Sasha Banks. The Amplified Man, baby. Yow! Check your leader.